In the world of electric vehicles, progress usually comes one battery cell at a time. Companies invest billions, pushing chemistry, software, and design to squeeze just a few more miles out of each charge. But every once in a while, a rumor appears, something so extraordinary that it makes even the most advanced engineers pause. This story begins with one such rumor. Somewhere in Africa, a quiet inventor was said to have built a car that never needed charging, a machine capable of generating its own power endlessly. His name, Maxwell Chikumbutso. When whispers of this reached Silicon Valley, no one took them seriously at first. Free energy inventions have come and gone for decades, each promising a revolution that never materialized. Yet what made Maxwell's story different was persistence. Videos circulated online showing a small workshop in Zimbabwe, a humble garage filled with wires, batteries, and hand-welded panels. In those clips, a prototype vehicle ran silently, with no visible charging cable in sight. To the casual viewer, it looked like magic. To engineers, it looked impossible. And to Elon Musk, it looked like a potential disruption to everything Tesla had built. The story spread like wildfire across forums and tech blogs. Some dismissed it instantly, another hoax, they said. Others wondered if this African engineer had stumbled onto something the big corporations had missed. Maxwell claimed that his vehicle used a combination of radio frequency energy, magnetic induction, and microturbine generation to continuously recharge itself. If true, it would mean the end of range anxiety forever, a dream every EV company had chased for decades.
Behind closed doors, curiosity grew.
Engineers from major companies quietly analyzed the publicly available footage. Some noticed inconsistencies, wires hidden beneath panels, camera cuts during critical demonstrations. Yet others couldn't fully explain how the car moved so smoothly without an external power source. It was enough to spark discussions inside Tesla's research divisions, where innovation is both currency and obsession. Elon Musk had always been open to bold ideas, but he was also a realist. For him, breakthroughs must survive physics, not just imagination. Still, sources close to the company suggest that he asked his team to prepare a report, a simple question scribbled at the top. Could a self-powered EV be theoretically possible? What followed was a deep dive into electromagnetic energy harvesting, perpetual motion myths, and the boundaries of thermodynamics. The conclusion, at least on paper, was clear: energy cannot be created from nothing. Every machine loses power through heat, friction, or inefficiency. So if Maxwell's car truly ran without fuel or charge, it would challenge the very laws of physics. But stories have power. And in an age where innovation moves faster than regulation, even the impossible can seem worth investigating. Journalists flew to Africa seeking interviews. Some met Maxwell himself, a soft-spoken inventor who spoke passionately about using technology to lift his country. He claimed that his work wasn't a fantasy but a misunderstood application of advanced electromagnetic conversion. He showed them control boards, circuits, and mathematical scribbles that few could interpret. Whether genius or illusion, his confidence was infectious. When reporters pressed for demonstrations under controlled conditions, things became complicated. Maxwell explained that his technology was still under protection, pending patents and negotiations. Skeptics rolled their eyes. Supporters argued he was being cautious, protecting his life's work from corporate theft. In a continent often overlooked by Western investors, distrust of global tech giants runs deep. Meanwhile, social media amplified the mystery. Hashtags like #FreeEnergyCar and #Elon versus Maxwell trended intermittently. YouTubers created breakdowns, freeze-framing each frame of the leaked videos. Some claimed to see hidden energy coils, others said it was clever editing. But one thing was undeniable: the world was paying attention. Within Tesla's circles, speculation grew. Could Maxwell's work represent a new form of ultra-efficient regenerative power? Could there be an overlooked physics loophole, something similar to what solar pioneers once discovered when everyone said it was impossible? Musk reportedly commented during a closed Q&A session, "If someone has cracked true energy independence, I'd be the first to congratulate them. But extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence." That line alone sparked another wave of online theories. Did Musk secretly know more? Was Tesla trying to contact Maxwell for collaboration, or to suppress competition? As months passed, bits of new information surfaced. Maxwell announced he had created not only a self-powered EV, but also a radio power generator and a drone that never needed recharging. To believers, this was proof that a technological revolution was brewing in Africa. To skeptics, it was yet another layer of exaggeration. The tension between these two worlds, scientific skepticism and hopeful innovation, grew thicker. Supporters accused big corporations of ignoring Maxwell because his success threatened the trillion-dollar energy industry. Critics argued that without peer-reviewed proof, his claims held no scientific value. Still, the inventor kept building, kept demonstrating, and kept insisting that one day, the truth would be undeniable. Back in California, analysts noticed something interesting. Tesla began quietly filing more patents related to wireless energy transfer, supercapacitors, and energy recapture systems. Some online commentators linked this directly to Maxwell's claims, suggesting that Musk's team was taking inspiration, or perhaps preparing a counter-revelation. While there's no evidence of direct influence, the timing fueled speculation that the world's leading electric vehicle manufacturer might actually be preparing for a future beyond batteries. And that's where the story begins to blur the line between curiosity and conspiracy. Was Maxwell truly holding a secret that could rewrite history, or was he a symbol, an embodiment of the global desire to break free from fossil fuel dependency? Whatever the answer, his invention forced people to ask uncomfortable questions. What if innovation isn't limited to billion-dollar labs? What if the next great breakthrough comes from a small workshop half a world away? As Elon Musk himself once said, great ideas can come from anywhere. Yet he also warned that physics always wins. The intersection of those two beliefs became the foundation of this ongoing mystery. By now, the story had transcended technology. It had become a conversation about power, both literal and metaphorical.
Énergie powers nation, industrie, and dream.
Whoever controls it shapes the future. And if a small inventor truly found a way to bypass that control, the implications would be enormous. In private discussions, tech experts speculated that if Maxwell's device were even partially functional, say, achieving 10% self-recharging capacity, it would still represent a major leap forward. Such technology could drastically reduce dependence on grid charging, potentially allowing vehicles to travel hundreds of miles longer between recharges. But the claim of a completely self-powered system remained beyond credible limits. Still, humanity's greatest progress often begins with someone saying, "What if?" That question, echoing through labs, garages, and online debates, became the soul of the Maxwell-Musk saga. As curiosity swelled, a handful of independent engineers decided to test Maxwell's ideas themselves. They gathered what little public information they could find, old patents, interviews, photographs of circuit boards, and tried to reverse engineer his mysterious greener power machine. Most experiments ended the same way. The math didn't close, the energy output never exceeded the input, and nothing truly self-sustaining emerged. Yet each failed attempt only deepened the fascination. If it was impossible, how had Maxwell convinced so many that it might not be? Some journalists claimed that early demonstrations in Zimbabwe were staged with hidden batteries. Others argued that the prototypes drew on ambient radio frequencies in such small amounts that they merely delayed, rather than eliminated, power loss.
Still, the story refused to die.
Viewers were drawn not only to the invention itself but to the idea of it, a vision of liberation from the grid, from corporations, from the constant dependence on charging stations. It became a story of hope disguised as technology. Within Tesla's innovation teams, internal debates reportedly became intense. Engineers discussed theoretical models that could harvest wasted electromagnetic noise from urban environments, signals from Wi-Fi routers, cellular towers, satellite transmissions. Some called it energy scavenging. Theoretically, a car could extend range slightly by collecting that energy, but the power density was microscopic. The notion that such a system could run indefinitely seemed absurd. And yet, the whispers continued. Maybe Maxwell had found a new resonance method, a way to amplify microscopic waves into usable current. To most, it sounded like science fiction. To a visionary like Musk, science fiction was often the first draft of tomorrow. The online world noticed every movement Musk made. When he liked a tweet mentioning self-charging cars, forums exploded.
Et n'ose. One headline read.
In truth, it might have been nothing more than curiosity. But in the age of instant speculation, silence speaks louder than words. Videos titled "Elon Reacts to Maxwell's Free Energy Car" gained millions of views despite offering little more than conjecture. The narrative had escaped its creators and taken on a life of its own. Meanwhile, Maxwell's own life grew more complicated. He began receiving invitations from investors, journalists, even government representatives. Some wanted to fund him, others wanted to investigate. In several interviews he appeared cautious, at times even fearful, suggesting that powerful interests might be trying to suppress his discoveries. Whether paranoia or prudence, such statements only fueled the fire. The internet loves an underdog fighting shadowy forces, and Maxwell fit that archetype perfectly, a lone genius standing against a skeptical world. Back in the United States, energy analysts debated the broader meaning. What if, they asked, the global fascination with Maxwell's claim was itself a signal, proof that people were hungry for alternatives, desperate for technologies that promised freedom instead of dependence? Even if his car never existed as described, perhaps the myth carried its own power, pushing mainstream innovators to think beyond incremental gains. Ideas can be contagious, and sometimes the idea of revolution is enough to trigger one.
Tesla's research in wireless energy transfer quietly advanced.
Patents hinted at dynamic charging lanes, roads that could transmit electricity inductively as vehicles drove. Engineers explored ultra-dense capacitors that could recharge in seconds. None of this was free energy, but to the average person, it looked like magic. In YouTube comment sections, fans linked every new Tesla announcement back to Maxwell, convinced that his shadow influenced it all. By early 2025, the legend had become a movement. Independent creators built communities around open-source self-powered projects, uploading blueprints, tutorials, and experiments inspired by Maxwell's claims. Some achieved modest results, small generators that captured stray electromagnetic waves to trickle-charge batteries. These devices couldn't run a car, but they demonstrated that the concept of ambient energy wasn't entirely fantasy. In that sense, Maxwell had already succeeded. He had made people believe in possibility again. Elon Musk, ever pragmatic, mentioned during a podcast that he respected anyone pushing the edges of physics. He added, almost offhandedly, that breakthroughs often start with ridicule. That single quote reignited every headline. Musk defends Maxwell? No, but nuance rarely survives the algorithm. The storylines merged. The billionaire visionary and the mysterious African inventor now existed in the same narrative orbit, two characters representing opposite poles of innovation, one powered by data and capital, the other by imagination and defiance. And then came the alleged leak. An obscure blog published what it claimed were confidential emails between a small research firm in South Africa and an anonymous US tech investor referencing collaboration with a major EV company. The letters mentioned a prototype that could maintain battery charge indefinitely under specific electromagnetic conditions.
No compagnie names, no proof, juste 9 ambiguïtés, tout ignite Internet.
Within hours, every major tech outlet picked it up, speculating that Tesla or SpaceX might be involved. Both companies declined comment, as they always do regarding rumors. But silence again became evidence in the court of public opinion. Behind the noise, a quieter truth remained. Whether Maxwell's device worked or not, the world was moving toward decentralized power. Solar panels grew cheaper, home batteries more efficient, and small-scale renewables more practical. The dream of independence, of powering your own life, was no longer fantasy. Maxwell's tale simply accelerated that dream's emotional charge. For Musk, this might have been the real lesson. Innovation isn't just equations and patents, it's narrative. Whoever tells the most compelling story shapes the direction of research dollars, public trust, and government policy. Maxwell, knowingly or not, had written a story that captured hearts as well as minds. By the time mainstream scientists attempted to test his machines again, Maxwell had become elusive. Some said he was working privately with a university abroad. Others insisted he had retreated from public life to focus on refinement. A few skeptics claimed he had run out of resources and enthusiasm.
The truth lay somewhere between rumor and silence.
What remained was a lingering question. What if he really did see something the rest of us missed? As new electric vehicles rolled off Tesla's assembly lines, their efficiency improved dramatically. The latest models boasted regenerative systems capable of recovering more than 90% of braking energy, solar roofs that trickle-charged under daylight, and AI systems optimizing every watt. To an untrained eye, it almost seemed as if Tesla itself was inching closer to the dream Maxwell once proclaimed. A car that could, in theory, run endlessly with the right conditions. In interviews, Musk laughed off the comparison. "We're not building perpetual motion machines," he said. "We're just getting better."
At not wasting energy.
Yet he acknowledged that some of the company's innovations were inspired by unconventional thinkers around the world. "Sometimes the craziest ideas spark the best questions," he admitted. That balance between skepticism and curiosity defined the modern age. For every false start or exaggerated claim, there was also an overlooked genius waiting to be heard. Perhaps the true revelation of the Maxwell story wasn't a secret engine, but a reminder that vision knows no geography.